Hello viewers, I'm Simon Christie and welcome to Full Drive TV. We've got a great balance of motorsport, tips, techniques and trips. We've got a great episode for you, so let's get into it. Tread lightly, keep it safe, play hard.
The tracks that we've done today, I mean, we're in state forest. I mean, we basically stayed on formed tracks.
We have indeed.
The whole time. I mean, those tracks through the dunes were clearly marked. And
yes, they are.
It's really interesting to note with sand dunes is that, I mean, all you need is a strong wind come.
Strong wind, a little bit of rain.
Weather, it basically just puts them back to virginal dunes again. I mean, there's a property in the Flinders Ranges that we visit from time to time, and they've got some beautiful dunes, and there's a trail that goes up over the dunes, and you always feel guilty after driving through there, even though it is actually a farm trail right through the dunes, but you can literally go back 2 weeks later and you'll never know.
It's pristine, isn't it?
It's incredible, and I can't remember the figures, but sand dunes can move at a fairly high rate of knots. I mean, the Sahara Desert, for example, which I travelled through many, many years ago, I mean, the dunes there are sort of encroaching on towns all the time. It's a pretty incredible environment. The hill climb that we did this afternoon, you winched up. I think you got up that dune further than anyone. What stopped you in the end?
Well, I guess when you think about a sand dune, what you've got is a number of things stop you. First of all, the actual incline has a huge impact on it. The second thing is, as the dune changes during the day, in the morning, typically it's a little bit more colder, so it's a bit more packed down. As the day gets hotter, the sand gets warmer, it gets more softer, more windblown, so it's more powdery and more difficult to drive through. And of course, if someone else has been up first and had a couple of cracks at it and not made it, that tends to dig holes. So I guess if the next vehicle that goes up has got the same wheelbase, then you're going to fill into those exactly same holes. So having a vehicle with a different wheelbase or a different wheel track actually gives you an advantage. You can actually possibly get through those ruts more easily. Now, the good thing about sand is, which we did actually do on one of the hills, is Michael stood up the top and kicked sand into the holes. And as we went over them, we actually collapsed some of the holes in, so we actually filled in the holes and made it easier. And I attribute the fact we did so well to the fact it was very, very low tyre pressure, so I was running about 10 psi, different wheelbase to the other vehicles that have been trying, and basically hitting it really quite hard, and we got most of the way up. Only had to winch the last little bit. Once you're at the top, there's this incredible plateau looking at an incredible vista, like a big hill, looking at over all the other hills underneath it. It was actually quite spectacular.
They're an impressive thing, those winches. It doesn't matter how many times I see them get used.
Oh, they're amazing.
They are amazing. I mean, it'd be a pretty heavy vehicle, your 80 series.
It's about 3 and a bit tonnes, 3.2 tonnes.
On a very steep angle. Bog in sand, pull it out on a single line pull.
Single line pull did it effortlessly. Just had it in first gear, low range, front and rear lockers in, fast idle, so the wheels are just turning over very, very slowly. That brings the alternator up to speed, so we're getting proper voltage as well. So a combination of alternator charge plus the car assisting, the winch just popped it out effortlessly. So it's
probably one of those accessories that you would use less than anything else on the car, but when you do use it, boy, are you glad you've got it.
Look, I always say to people, a winch to me is like an insurance policy or a fire extinguisher. You absolutely need it to work. When you're in that situation, you don't want a cheap winch that's going to let you down. You need a reliable winch. Fire extinguisher, you don't want a $10 fire extinguisher that might work. You want a $50 one that will work. And it's the same with winches. You put it under a lot of stress. It's a safety related thing too. So obviously you want your dampeners and all your right safety gear with it, your gloves and things, and then you have a successful, easy recovery, which is good.
Sidebiters aren't new to the tyre industry. In fact, they were designed back in the 60s by Mickey Thompson for him to use in his off-road racing tyres that he raced in the Baja. What we are starting to see more commonly today is Sidebiters on a lot of premium brands that are available here in Australia. So why would you choose a tyre with a Sidebiter? Tyres with Sidebiters will give you increased protection in the upper sidewall. You can see it's almost like the tread runs further down the sidewall of the tyre, and this also helps you to climb out of the ruts or give you more traction off-road when you're in those slippery and boggy conditions. A lot of the off-road racing guys now utilise tyres that have Sidebiters for the exact same reason that Mickey Thompson invented them. It gives them faster speed, less tyre damage and more opportunities to win races. And of course, because the Sidebiter's on the sidewall, it won't increase your road noise out of the tyre, but what it will increase is your off-road performance. Sidebiters are a really great innovation, so make sure you consider them when you purchase your next set of off-road tyres. I'm Brad Smith, and thanks for joining me for this week's Mickey Thompson Tyre Tip.
All right, a little bit of bad news. Danny's car's got some problems. We're suffering with a little bit of whining coming from the transfer case, the diff, we're not sure. Now we've got the experts on board, and that's the fantastic thing about travelling with so many well-trained, experienced four-wheel drivers. We've got experts here who can help out. Now we've done some testing this morning, we've located it down to the rear diff, probably a problem with the drive shaft being slightly too long.
That should just fall off. It's supposed to hit us in the head by now. That's like all the way up. I know, that's probably what's half the problem. It could have like loaded up the bearing.
It's probably loaded up the pinion.
Anyway, we'll find out in a minute. Gotcha. I reckon our theory is when this shaft's been made up,
It's too
we've
long.
made it too long, because what's supposed to happen, that's supposed to slide. See that like that? That's supposed to be a shitload shorter.
It should have like 25, 30 mil there.
Well, it should have, yeah,
Minimum.
20 mil at least.
Now it's important when you're travelling out in these areas that you carry a tool set that has a socket big enough to do the pinion nuts, the bearings, etc. on these vehicles, and we do have that.
So I reckon if we can shorten up the shaft so it doesn't crash, stick it back in, that's it, that's all we can do.
Now I've also got one of the guys travelling with us is carrying some fantastic power tools, and we've actually got an angle grinder, and we're going to look at cutting down part of the drive shaft, adjusting the splines so we can get a little bit of extra travel. Now it is definitely a bush fix, we need to get this fixed properly, but it will certainly get us back on the road and keep us wheeling.
All right, let's chuck a couple of bolts in it. We're feeling slightly confident. There's a definite possibility of a maybe this will be all right. Yes.
Be confident.
Hi, I'm Mick from Superior Engineering. Today I'd like to show the viewers how to get additional flex out of a GQ and GU Patrol. We've got a 3-inch lifted Armada Extreme kit in this GU Patrol here. So what we're going to do is bring in the forklift, we're going to lift this up, I'm going to get a few measurements on each corner. We'll record those measurements, then we're going to go and fit in a single Superflex arm that's going to go in on the passenger side. From there we'll lift it up again, we'll get some more measurements. We'll show you how much you would expect to gain just by doing an easy fit out of a single arm. So let's go get the forklift now and we'll lift this thing up. We're going to lift this wheel up until the far side starts coming off the ground. So I'm just watching now, just keeping an eye on all four wheels. I'll tell Luke when to stop lifting it. Yep. Let's come down a little bit. All right, so I'll get a couple of measurements now and we'll record those measurements. So I'm just going to measure from the underside of the guard to the concrete. That's the easiest way to do this. So we've got 1180 there, which this is, looking at this is a pretty good amount of flex for a 3-inch lifted vehicle. We've got 690 there. So we know the shocks in this are not a limiting factor in this specific lift, because this is one of our kits here. We've got the right size shocks and everything designed for the coils and everything. So we don't need to be checking that. As we progress with different changes we're going to do, then we'll disconnect the shocks, because I know the shocks aren't going to be long enough. So we got 990. So as you can see, that's a good amount of drop there. But we know that the sway bars and the radius arm is a limiting factor. We've got 1515 on the last corner. So we'll go down there, we'll lower it back down, and we'll put one of the standard Superflex arms in it, and then we'll do this procedure again. So this is a Superflex arm we're going to fit in the GU Patrol. So the great thing about these is you get the additional flex over a standard arm. This is a standard OE GU Patrol radius arm. Now this is the arm that's going to connect the diff, which would connect in here into the chassis. Now this measurement here is a restricting point of a solid axle vehicle. The closer these bushes are together, the more flex you're going to get. What we do basically, because this vehicle's only a 3-inch lift, you can do this with a 2-inch or a standard. You can just run the one arm, depending on the actual true lift of the vehicle, like how high it is. So the Superflex arm here, you've got these adapter plates. So what we've done to make this work, we've brought the bushes in a bit closer together. Now normally that'd be out nice and wide here, but then what we've got to do is have an adapter plate that actually joins those together like that with a series of bolts. So the bolts would actually go through and hold all that together. I'll just quickly assemble it so you get a bit of an idea. So that's your bolts holding your adapter on. There's a crush bar and a bolt that will actually go on the front, a spacer. So that there is really creating that, if that makes sense. So what we'll do, we'll bring the GU Patrol in now. We'll fit this in on one side, and then we'll go and lift this up with a forklift again and show you the difference with some real measurements.
Hi, my name's Tim, and this is my 2012 FJ Cruiser. Mods so far have been the front bar, winch, exhaust, rear up and lower control arm, snorkel, and assortment more. future mods, I'd like to get a rear tyre carrier and then hopefully one day a TOD supercharger. Tyres in the car have currently got a Nitto mud grapplers, 35 inch, noisy as hell, sound like an aircraft coming down the highway. Lift currently in the car is a Monster Rides DMS Recon kit, which is adjustable to 4 inches, and it's currently sitting at 3.5. Also got front rear control, upper control arms done, and Monster Rides rear bump and front bump stops.
Details on how to win a place in the Your Rig weekly competition can be found on the 4Drive TV Facebook page. And each successful entrant wins an electric blue span set snatch strap, a Nava adder circuit double fuse holder, a Nava power cup and a Nava cigarette lighter extension lead, an Oricom handheld UHF kit including two 2-watt UHFs, a Mean Mother mug, a Mean Mother snatch strap bag, a Mean Mother umbrella and a Mean Mother stubby holder. A pair of smart scissors and an Any Sharp knife sharpener from our good friends at Keeslar. An add-on Donaldson diesel fuel filter kit including chassis mount. A U-Fix-It windscreen repair kit. A Superior Engineering cap and stubby holder. A Berrima diesel cap. An ARB Penrith stubby holder. A litre of emergency gear oil from 360 Gearboxes. A cap from 360 Gearboxes. A copy of 4x4 Australia magazine. A copy of Dirt Comp magazine and a Dirt Comp calendar. A copy of Wild Deer and Hunting Adventures magazine, a copy of Blitz Martial Arts magazine, 2 4Drive TV medium stickers to add to your rig, 2 stubbies of Bundaberg ginger beer, an ARB Airlocker t-shirt, an ARB jacket, an ARB pair of socks, an ARB cap and an ARB Old Man Emu jacket. And it's all neatly wrapped up in an ARB cargo gear carry bag.
I'd like to say a big thanks to Simon Miranda and the crew. Such a great day and opportunity to come out and keep up the great work. Thanks.
Viewers, today we are looking at a 4Drive of a very different kind. We're reviewing the Axial SCX10 JK Wrangler. Now RC 4Drives are more popular than ever, and believe me, they are not just toys for the kids. Us grown-ups love them as well, and every 4-wheel-drive event we go to, the RCs are there having a lot of fun in between the big action. So let's have a look at this kit. Now this kit is what we call an RTR, ready to run or ready to race. Let's open it up and have a look. Straight up, you've got a great bag of accessories with this. Parts if you break anything. A couple of cones as well. A handset, very important to control the vehicle. And check it out, the vehicle itself. How awesome is that? Now when we say RTR, ready to run, this is what we mean. A vehicle that has basically everything you need, except for batteries. It's ready to go. It's set up, it's built, the tyres are on, it's got the electronics, the steering servo, it's ready to go. Now one of the things we like about this Axial SCX10 JK Wrangler is that it is extremely lifelike. It's what we call a scaler. It's a scale version of a real vehicle, but not just a standard vehicle, it's one that's been modified for serious off-road use. We've got bumpers front and rear, we've got a wheel carrier, we've got off-road tyres, and that realistic Jeep look which is tough as nails and ready for the trails. So let's now take a look at what it takes to get this vehicle ready for some fun. There are 4 body clips holding the body on. We simply remove these clips, and with this version we also need to remove a clip for the spare wheel carrier. The body can then come off, revealing some quite impressive engineering. Up at this end we've got the steering servo. As we move back down we've got the receiver, the ESC, the motor, the gearbox which also doubles as a transfer case giving us true 4-wheel drive, and our battery plate here to take our battery. Now as I said, these vehicles are RTR, ready to run, but they do need batteries. Now for batteries, I've chosen a Max Amps LiPo battery. Now this is a lithium polymer modern type battery. It provides a supercharged, longer run times and actually gives you more punch. The Max Amps can be bought over the internet from America, but they're my choice when I'm running RC vehicles for longer lasting, better power and more fun when you're out there in the bush. To fit the battery up, it simply slides in under our Velcro straps and we can then lock it down securely in place. That's not going anywhere. Using a Dean's connector, we connect it up and the vehicle now has power and we can now replace the body of the vehicle. Just by looking at the vehicle, you can see that it's extremely well engineered. Even these fitting points are quite a tight fit, which shows you how well the unit's been designed. Now we've got to power up our handset. The handset simply takes 4 AA's, and I just happen to have some units right here ready to go. Again, being an RTR, this comes factory tuned to the handset. Always switch on your handset first. Green light's on, we've got power there. And there's a switch underneath the chassis of the Axial SCX10. We can hear the codes come up. And just a quick test. Oh yeah, we've got action. Now, let's go and find a mate with another one and have some fun. Well, that's it guys, the Axial SCX10 JK Wrangler, a realistic scaler, ready to run straight out of the box, a fantastic unit. Not just for the kids, the grown-ups like myself, or the big kids, whatever you like to call them, love them as well. A great way when the weather's not so good, or when you can't go full-scale four-wheel driving, to still have some four-wheel drive fun. It's surprising how realistic it is, picking your lines, getting momentum, getting up over obstacles. Just great four-wheel drive fun. Really impressed with the Axial SCX10 JK Wrangler, a great addition to your four-wheel drive family.
My name's Trevor Henning. I'm at the Superior Engineering Short Course down here at Caboolture. I've got a 1992 Nissan Patrol wagon cut into ute with a Nissan V8 4.5 turbocharged quad cam engine. Had it since 1997. Done a lot of modifications to it and crashed it a few times. Just a play car. Motor's had a bit of work done to it. Main modifications is a twin cam V8 in there. It's still got a Nissan manual 5-speed. Suspension's been upgraded to heavy duty shocks and aftermarket shocks. The future modifications probably some big coilover suspension or something like that and get the suspension a bit more sorted, make it handle a bit better for the big bumps and stuff like that. Don't really take it out a lot. We mainly did the Cooper series at Land Cruiser Park. What I'm hoping to get out today, well, first thing, finish the race, don't break the car, and yeah, get it on the trailer. Position would be great, but looking around the competition here, it's going to be pretty hard to get a place, I'd say. Thanks 4 Wheel Drive TV for coming out to cover the event, and I'm dying to see my car on TV.
Well viewers, thank you for tuning in for another great episode of 4 Wheel Drive TV. Now don't forget, you can also watch us on Your 4x4 and Simon Christie's 4 Wheel Drive Pro Tips, 2 other fantastic shows that I produce. For now though, it's time to head off. Thanks from Simon Christie and the crew, and tread lightly, keep it safe, play hard. I look forward to your company next week.